The waiver wire sucks this week for fantasy football. It's the same names. We're looking at the stash plays. We lost Kendre Miller. Now we're looking at more running back stashes. Kyle Monangai is starting to perform. We need a deep dive what he's doing on the field. Might be on waivers, maybe not. Maybe you're watching this for your confirmation bias. But we do need to get our stash plays in order since there's nobody really to pick up this week outside Gadsden, Brashard Smith, and a few others, but nothing super hot right now on the waiver wire. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing deep dives like this every single day, multiple players a day. That way you know the good, the bad, the ugly of that player, that advanced analytics, so you can make your determination. Do I pick up that player? Do I not? Do I drop him, trade him, whatever? But it will be here as a free resource, and we're going to also help you set your lineups by looking at every single matchup throughout the week, trying to figure out how fantasy points can be scored in those games. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out. But Kyle Monangai hit it last week. He's all about that money. Week 7 against the Saints, 17.4 PPR fantasy points. It was a busted-ass game script, though. Spencer Rattler throwing 3 picks. He got 13 rushing attempts in this game, 81 yards and a touchdown. First rushing touchdown of the season. 3 targets in this matchup. Hasn't had more than 1 target since week 2, but we're getting that work. 45% snap share. We got Baltimore, Cincy, the Giants coming up. Some interesting game scripts for these running backs, but he is a lottery ticket handcuff running back because DeAndre Swift has been cooking. He's been looking good. He's been getting a lot of snaps, but he isn't getting too many either to where it's allowing Kyle Monangai to get his opportunities on the field. 19 rushing attempts last week, 14 the week before. He's getting work in the passing game. We got some advantageous game scripts coming up for DeAndre Swift. Also in the numbers, he's been rocking it solid, but it's not about Monangai stealing his work. It's about handcuff lottery ticket running back that if Swift goes down, next man up. He was a 3-star recruit out of high school, went to Rutgers, had a lot of offers from a lot of G5 programs out there. But we go to Rutgers, and it takes some time, but we eventually blow up in 2023. 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1,200 yards the next year, 13 touchdowns, 3.37 yards after contact per attempt, 3.33 on his career. Not a ton of work in the passing game, but enough to get the job done. A-dot downfield, running routes downfield in this offense. But the one thing you notice from him from the tape is he's a grinder, good vision. He's very dependable. Just one of those running backs that can take it touch after touch, leading the team. And then we get to the draft, we fall to the 7th round. So a late round pick. That tells us the Bears don't have any sunk cost invested in him. And he's also a 7th rounder. So when you look at the economics, the macro of this draft class, it's one of the deepest, most talented running back classes ever, just ever, really. Probably the deepest of all time. So when you think about that, you put him like in the 2024 class, maybe he's a couple rounds higher. Maybe he's valued a little bit higher, back-to-back, 1,200-yard seasons. Nothing really standing out when it comes to his size-adjusted athleticism, but the production profile, how he rumbles on tape, everything's looking solid. Not surprised that he fell in the draft this year because there's a lot of good running backs. Like I said, when Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt got all that buzz earlier this year, that, hey, there's a lot more. There's a few more to look at. You're going to see him come up throughout the season. Here's another late round guy that's coming up doing some things. You're looking at this depth chart. Roschon Johnson's been on the team for a bit. He's holding him in check. He's holding this depth chart in check and getting that RB2 role on this team. That is something to look at here because, like I said, the Bears do not have any sunk cost invested in him, so they don't feel like they need to promote him. He has earned this work. These little bit of touches, 13 carries last week, he's earned that. He has earned that work, looked good in practice, looking good. They can depend on him. They said it in the media that he's looking better every single week. And DeAndre Swift, though, has been rolling. He's been rolling. He's been an RB2 or better every single week in fantasy but week 1. He has been rolling. Nothing against him, though. He's had a solid season. He was solid last year. He had a good run of 4 games last year. Maybe he's about to hit that run of 4 games this year and then go down to be an RB2. Maybe he's about to hit a streak because we do have some advantageous game scripts coming his way. That's one thing to note here. And he's also been solid. Yards created 9th among running backs. Yards created per touch, 11th. 25th in evaded tackles. Explosive rating, 3rd. Breakaway run, 7th. Juke rate, 35th. True yards per carry, 16th. 20th among running backs and carries. So he's looking solid here. 11.9% target share. 51.3% route participation rate. Ranks 12th among running backs. Getting a lot of work in the passing game. Everything's looking solid here. Yards per route run, 10th among running backs. He's been efficient. Snap share here, 62.8% for DeAndre Swift, 32% for our boy Kyle Monangai. Opportunity share here, 70.7% for Swift, 28% for Kyle Monangai. Barely anything on the season for Roschon Johnson. He's holding this depth chart in check. He's holding them at bay with a 26% route participation rate, getting work in the passing game. Swift getting a 51% rate, looking solid. True yards per carry, he's holding it in check too with DeAndre Swift. 4.52 versus 4.58. Breakaway run rate. Kyle Monangai does not profile like DeAndre Swift. 2.85, but he's dependable between the tackles. Yards created per rush, 2.54 versus 2.57. Like, he can take touch after touch after touch up the gut. He'll never wow you and blow your mind with a breakaway run or anything like that. He'll have a couple of them, but his breakaway run rate isn't going to be insane. And you're looking at the opportunity share, 12% versus 31%. 12%, anything above 10%, anything there for an RB2 in double digits when it comes to opportunity rate is solid. And you're looking at the third running back there at 2%. He ain't getting messed with. He's safe. So Swift goes down. You see a roll there. These numbers are saying that. 51% share of the rushing attempts for Swift, 20% for Kyle Monangai. That is good. That is solid. He's got a 5% target share versus 12%. Moneyguy's getting opportunities. 162 yards on the season, 4.6 yards per carry versus 4.7. He's a good grinder. He's efficient. He's got good vision. He's slick into the second level. That's what you like about his game. He's not getting to work. You can't use him yet. You can't use a running back getting a 20% share of the carries. You can't use him, but you can definitely see how he's a stash right now and how he can get more work going forward, especially as Swift goes down. He's got one RB1 week. He hit RB1 status last week. Before that, a lot of nada. It was an advantageous game script. We do have some advantageous game scripts coming up, but you're looking at the schedule here. Baltimore, Cincy, both of them are giving up fantasy points to running backs. That's good for Swift. Also, if they get up, that could be good for our boy Monangai here. And now you're looking for the Giants. Last 3 weeks, they've been crushing running backs. You look at that front up there, they should be crushing running backs. That's helping this team win some games. Everybody's looking at Dart and Scadaboo, but that front is nasty. It is nasty. We talked about that during training camp. That is a nasty front that you do not want to deal with. However, it's not about these matchups. It's not about the schedule. It's if Swift goes down. He's a handcuff to Swift, but more importantly, even if you don't have Swift, he's a lottery ticket running back. Even if he sucks with a full workload, because we don't know that. It's ambiguous right now. The Trey Sermon effect. Trey Sermon, when he took over for Jonathan Taylor last year, was profitable in fantasy once out of 3 to 4 games. Now, you might hate that. You don't want that. Eye of the beholder, though. Some people may need that. But he could be more than that. He's a lottery ticket. We don't know, but touches matter. The top 30-some running backs in fantasy, when it comes to touches every week, they matter one way or another. They give you opportunity to score points at least when you're getting work. And if you're not getting those touches, you're not really getting that opportunity to throw into lineups. That opportunity does matter. Never gets a chance is the risk here. He may never get that opportunity. Swift might be good to go all year. He may never get banged up this season. And everything's okay with that. However, lottery ticket running backs, it's the same story. They may never get their chance. They may never get their moment. However, we're also starting to see the touches flip a little bit. small sample of one game to where he's getting the opportunity to give you a little bit of production. So if you're in dire need of something, you could throw him in. However, there's wide receivers with splash play upside that you may want to go over him. But if you don't want to flip your stash, you can just throw him in too, see if he crosses the goal line. What I like about him is he's a lottery ticket stash where we know that he's getting touches and opportunity. That's letting us know the coaching staff likes him. They trust him. He's got some decent metrics to his name. Something happens to Swift, everybody's blowing fab on him. He's a fab buster. You want one or two of those fab busters on the back end of your bench. Most of the guys on the back end of your bench that you're stashing for your lineups, that's not a premium running back stash, are just roster fodder anyways. You're starting them once a season. They're scoring about 9, 10, 11 fantasy points per game. They're not going to win you your league. He could. Down the line, if Swift goes down, he could score enough points per game to win your season on the back end once you get to the fantasy playoffs. And typically, when this stuff happens, it typically happens around that time. He's a stash play. There's a bunch of running backs like that, and all you need is like one or two of them on the back of your bench. Once you start getting hit with injuries and bye weeks, you just flip the shit around, pick up the next one once you're able to create the space for him. You keep it moving, but always be working, stashing, playing the waiver wire. The waiver wire, being aggressive with it is huge for fantasy football. Some of you guys come here, you're new to the channel, you want to learn about some of these players sitting there on the waiver wire. One thing is, idle hands is the devil's workshop when it comes to fantasy football. The one thing about this, especially if you're like a 500 team or you got a losing record but you're still kind of in it, you want to work that waiver wire. You want to be aggressive. One of the top teams. You also want to get your handcuffs in place because you probably got a top running back. You want to get them cuffed up. So now I'm talking more about process than Kyle Money Guy here, is the fact that, hey, these stash running backs, even though they may never shine, a few of them have to one degree or another. You don't have to fight the fab for them. And if your stud goes down, you guys back up right there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.